Hey guys, welcome back to the final part of Paramahansa Yogananda's Autobiography of a Yogi. And again, this is chapter 37 where he goes to America. And on this part, he's talking about his journey to America. And really what amazed me about this was just some of the... Let me just read it to you and then we can talk about it, okay? So let me set the scene. So he's on the boat heading to America and recognizing that he is like this spiritual Swami. They say, hey, can you give us a lecture on the boat? I'm sure a whole bunch of people would like to hear from you. Now, he at this time had never done a lecture in English. And so he was racked with, he knows that he's supposed to do this, but he's, kind of filled with a little bit of fear. But I want you guys to see the miracle that happens in this. And so we're going to start from the point where he's in front of the audience and he's been silent for 10 minutes. And we'll just start from there, okay? So he goes... Fully trusting in Master's past assurances, however, I appeared before my Thursday audience in the saloon of the steamer. No eloquence rose to my lips. Speechlessly, I stood before the assemblage. After an endurance contest lasting 10 minutes, the audience realized my predicament and began to laugh. The situation was not funny to me at the moment. Indignantly, I sent a silent prayer to Master. "You can! Speak!" His voice sounded instantly within my consciousness. My thoughts fell at once into a friendly relation with the English language. 45 minutes later, the audience was still attentive. The talk won me a number of invitations to lecture later before various groups in America. I never could remember afterwards a word that I had spoken. By discreet inquiry, I learned from a number of passengers, you gave an inspiring lecture in stirring and correct English. At this delightful news, I humbly thanked my guru for his timely help, realizing anew that he was ever with me, setting at naught all barriers of time and space. Woo! How many times have you been in front of an audience having to give a talk and you just completely black out, don't even know what the hell it is that you're saying? Now, that's happened to me plenty of times, and I feel like sometimes I still black out in front of audience when I give my talks. But that wasn't the miracle, right? Do you recognize the miracle? So this is what I see as the miracle is when he's going to do something in fear, when he's going to talk to this group in a language that he's never given a talk to, he understands, hey, holy crap, I am in a predicament here. I turn to God. So he says, God, I need help. I can't do this. And God's like, no, yes, you can. And he does it anyways, through the fear, through this rest assured that, this connection with God that's like, you know what? I'm going to do this anyways, and starts talking, starts giving, and which ultimately becomes like a good talk, right? But the miracle was because he still did this thing, even through fear, with the connection and help and care and love of God, he was invited to do more talks around America. So in my own quest and my own journey, there's a lot of examples that I have seen that when I do something, when I put myself out there, when I try, it might not be perfect. It might be with a weird accent. It might be saying the wrong words. It might be without my lipstick on. It might be with a stupid cowlick that does not want to be tame ever. It might not be perfect, but it affords me other opportunities. It gives me the opportunity to give another talk somewhere, talk to another person, to become a client, to express myself in another creative venture, and a whole bunch of another world opens up when you come outside of your comfort zone. Because imagine if he would have stayed in his comfort zone and said, you know what, no, I'm not going to do it. I've never done this lecture in English. I haven't practiced. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't have notes. I don't have this. I don't have that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Rather than just being like, you know what, God, they have asked me for this. I need your help. I need your love, protection, guidance. And you just speak. How powerful is that? That is the miracle, is that when you step forward in fear with the protection and love of God, you are given a world of other opportunities. Could he have known that that was going to happen? No, he thought he was just talking to the people on the boat. But that planted a seed and gave him so much fruit and bore so much fruit that he could go and talk to other groups, other societies, other places where he could lecture, and probably brought him to places in America he never thought he was ever going to go, because he was just going to Boston to be a lecturer there, or to be a representative, a delegate there, and it just took off. Now, where in your life are you saying no because of fear? Where in your life are you saying no in fear because I can't? I don't speak the language. I don't know how to. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be right. I don't have my notes. Where in your life are you denying yourself the opportunity to grow into to the expanded version of yourself that you can be? Where are you doing that to yourself? And this book, just overall, this is the last part that we're actually doing in this book. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but the fact that I have been doing these videos. Now, I don't get a lot of views on these videos, but what has this given to me? One, it's giving me practice on being in front of camera. It's giving me practice on how to edit videos. It's giving me practice on how to set up my camera, because as you saw in my first few videos, the sound was crap because I wasn't doing it right. Even adding a little bit of graphics at the beginning of the videos, I'm playing around with that. And it's not like I went from, a crap video in my first one to my second one being perfect and the frame is perfect. I'm sitting in front of my husband's dirty surfboards right now. I was sitting too far from the camera in my living room. All of these things that are not perfect about these videos, but yet I am still sharing my inspiration and my insights with you guys, because to me, these are the important messages that we can garner from these very important spiritual texts. Now, it might be his autobiography. It might be how he lived his life, and we might be just learning, in a timeline about what exactly he went through. But if you read between the lines, and you see the miracle, and you see the lessons that he learned, if you actually do the deep work in these books that I've read, this one, the one that we read before by Michael A. Singer, Untethered Soul, if you actually take a look and actually examine how it is that these things are happening for him, you can take those lessons into your own life. So where are you feeling fear, doubt, and where are you not asking God for help? Where is it that you are not saying, you know what, God, I want to create this thing. I want to experience this thing. I want to do this thing. Please help me. Why are you not asking for help from God, from the Creator, from Source, whatever you call them? Okay, I say God, ignore that. Now, whatever you call them. How is it that you are not asking for help? You want to be expanded and learn and do and be more and say more and do all those things. That's wonderful. But if you're stuck because of fear, you're living in a place where God is absent, where God is not present. If you take a little bit of faith and start moving forward and do the things that you are being called to do, you can expand your life and live a full and happy and joyous and free. Okay? So, as I mentioned, this was the last part of this book. So sad. I still have not figured out what my next book is yet. And, I trust that it's going to come to me. I read books all the time, but I don't necessarily feel like I want to review them because I'm not called to review them. I'm called to experience them, just like, in the middle of this book, we want to skip the few. Same thing with the Untethered Soul, where it was I'm not called to share that. I'm called to share these parts. And so what I am going to do is I'm just going to pray and say, I can't wait for my next book, for the next thing that I'm called to share with you guys, and my insights and my passion, my joy, my journey. And so I hope you guys stick with me for the next book. If you have any recommendations that, I can read, that's not necessarily that I'm going to review them or talk about them. But if you guys have any recommendations to send my way, drop them in you don't put them in the description. I put them in the description. You can put them in the comment section, and in the description I'm going to put a link to buy this book because I think you should get it. The thing is, I live in an apartment, so I can't just be buying books all the time, so I do get them from the library. Get it from the library if you want to get it from the library, but support and read the book. Get your own insights, okay? I'm also going to put a link to my book, Writing for My Life. How journaling can transform your life, because to me, journaling has been pivotal in me being able to do a lot of my self-discovery, and my journey is just all about writing. And I'm also going to put a link to my podcast and my email. I hope you guys join me next week and see where this is taking me, okay? Love you guys. Bye.